Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race out on Watopia. We're going to be doing, I believe it is the volcano counterclockwise course. And I believe the women have already got out on course, and we'll get right into the racing with them. This is, though, a part of the Zwift Academy races to be completed. Two races that are a part of that Zwift Academy for the men's and the women's side in order to complete the program. So we should see a whole lot of badges, actually, as we actually do see in the women's race as they're starting out their rotations out on the volcano clockwise course, counterclockwise course, excuse me. So it looks like we do have a lead group in the A and B category, kind of mixed up here a little bit, actually. Nobody really off the front at this point here. Jay Seaman right along with Wayland, and then it will be Pressbridge here, also out of the USA. Super international field. If you're unfamiliar with Zwift and you're just jumping into the racing scene with us here for the broadcast for the first time, this is actually real people on real bikes. Well, the avatars obviously are not, but they are real people powering these avatars on real bikes from either their home or wherever their Zwift setup might be. So the power you're seeing in the upper left-hand corner there at 219 watts is actual wattage being put into the pedals of a bicycle in order to move that bicycle or avatar forward at this moment. 175 beats per minute currently coming from JC. I mean, very difficult effort at this point, it looks like. We'll go ahead and try and grab a bunch of first and last names here over at Zwift Power as well, which is tracking the race for these riders right now. We'll also try and get some past results for them as they go throughout this race today. We do have the start of the men's race kicking off right now. It looks like we've got this solid group, though, in the women's race right now of, I would say, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 racers at the front end of this A race right now. I think that is including the B category riders that are in amongst them right now. One falling off the back just a little bit there. It does look like there may be a TT bike in there, actually, from the way the riders hold those handlebars. But the men's race is kicking off as well. Let's go ahead and see how that starts out. We'll jump back in with the women, see how this AB category top 12 pans out as they finish out 5 laps. So 5 laps for the women, going to be 7 laps for the men. And as usual, the starts out on Watopia are always crazy fast when they're heading out from the piers here. And we do see it is going to be S. Johnson here, Team Lightweight. I've never heard of Team Lightweight just yet. We'll have to see if they do adopt some sort of a feather kit or something in the game. But we do see innovations showing up in force. And I was sent a little reminder right before the broadcast today from their team director, Kyle Augustine. And I believe he may be in the race here today as well. They are completing a 24-hour challenge, actually, on October 20th. They're starting at 8 p.m. London time. It looks like 20, yeah. So 8 p.m. London time, 24-hour window. Teams formed of 1 to 4 riders, 1 minimum, 4 max. Actually, a few are actually Andy. I believe it's Andy Jackson that's a part of that team is going to also be attempting to break the 24-hour record in Zwift as well. There's no course or world limitations, you can use any, and no bike or gear limitations as well in games. So lots more details can be found for that there's actually a link here. I can link in a few of the chats. I'll try and do so as we go along with the race. But innovation showing up in force, it looks like, and they've been racing and training hard as a part of these races, also as a part of their group rides that they do form out on Zwift. They do have events that do run often in which Kyle does coach, well, along, I believe, with a few of their other members do coach those rides, actually. So lots of prep going in. It looks like 2 The Chain Gain 24 is what they're officially calling it. Up at the front of the race, though, for the KISS Racing team, for the KISS race today, all top 4 right now seem to be taken by, those places taken by KRT riders. We do have Dafford Williams here, Tim Cartwright actually right along. I believe I saw Tardy in there as well. There was one other that I missed. It was probably no other than Mr. Melty Man himself. I am spotting Mr. Zwift HQ here as well. Tom Hargreaves on the men's side of the Zwift Academy, actually, the man who's helped running that. So good to see him out there participating in one of the Zwift Academy races that need to be completed out here. I do believe he showed up last week as well. Probably looking to better his 4th place result I think he had in the sprint, and being a good sprinter and track rider in real life, I believe Tom is going to be one to watch out for on the counterclockwise course today. Canella now up at the front, taking up that 1st place spot out of Great Britain, 166 beats per minute, 441 watts. And then Germany right behind him here with HS. It will also be Jay Haggerty, and you know, too many to mention at this point. We'll see if we get any breakups out on course as they do make their way around the counterclockwise. Sternfalk here up at the back for Vision Cycling. We're going to keep moving backwards and see what's happening with those who are falling off the pace now. 171 beats per minute. B. Mick Kai there as well. S. Mitchell. Now this group of 3 is going to have to throw down a monstrous effort in order to get back on terms with those front runners. Now it is going to be, looks like Cliven then as well from the BRT team with maybe a dropout of 192 beats per minute, spinning away with no wattage. I have a feeling there might be an issue with the trainer there if his 192 is not moving at all. Perhaps a little bit of a dropout on the trainer. Yeah, just a second. I got this picture in my head of Cliven just going and going like, come on, just bring back some wattage for me right now. And the heart rate just keeps rising and it just will not connect his ANT. All right, B. Mikai now making the effort to get back on terms now. 7 seconds back. It will be Williams there, 7.0 watts per kilogram, hanging on the back. 146 beats per minute. He actually beats fairly lowly for a max heart rate though, so right up into that tempo almost threshold for him at this point now. Jay Haggerty KRT here now. That's the one we missed out on earlier for the KR Racing team. Good to see him out there. It does look like it's starting to break apart though out on course here. This is the moments usually that riders need to find their way to the front end of the course, because there's always attacks going into the lap because it's uphill. The only place out on course, it's like a 2-tier, kicks into the volcano, and then on the other end, once you get into the volcano, actually it levels out just a little bit and then kicks one more time to the lap finish in that 4% gradient uphill, and then after that you get a little reprieve and exit out onto a downhill. So always the breaks happening out here at this section. M. Schwartz here up toward the front of the US of A. There he is at 4.3 watts per kilogram. Pink bike, pink kit now. K. Augustine there, the sprinter. Watch out for him if he makes it to the finish line. But with that uphill finish, not sure if Gandalf's going to make it happen there. And we'll give him a ride on, originally out of New Zealand and residing in the UK right now. Good to see Kyle hammering away with innovation up toward the front of the race right now. Brett Boniface, one to be watching out for, making his return to the racing out on Zwift for ODZ. Currently holding on to a KOM, actually, it looks like. Did he race just prior to this? A lot of times Brett Boniface likes to do 2 in a row for his racing out on Zwift here. So let's go ahead and see if he does have any past races on the day, or if he just went out for a good warm-up today for this race. I actually have the women's results in front of me here as well. Let's go ahead and pull up the men's to see if Brett has any races today already. Let me know in chat over at Twitch or Mixer if you guys are, anyone's watching over there, if there is an issue going on with SwiftPower.com right now. It'd be very helpful. Thank you very much. And Also, we do have social media integration going on right now. If you do have any questions, comments, or pictures you'd like to share of your Zwift setup, anything like that at all, we do have social media integration going on. I do have a question actually from Yavor Garensky actually asking, hi, do you have, so let's go ahead and bring this in here. Yavor says, do you have any details on the new group workout feature that was just introduced? Thanks, no problem, Yavor. So here's what's going on with, that is in beta right now. So it is released to a few individuals or rides in order to test it out with the community, right? So you develop something and it works really great in house, but you got to put it en masse over the internet and shoot it out through the awesomeness of, well, almost always awesomeness of the internet. And so it's in beta right now. There was a few tests done this week, and I believe there's probably going to be patching a few things with it, but it will be available soon. I don't know how soon, but available soon to the public, I would believe, once they are out of beta. So I believe we're going to be testing it next week with Greg Henderson actually on the Coach Hendy ride, I believe, as long as that patch gets going. So no problem on answering that for you there. You've already got any more questions or comments, or you just want to shoot a picture of Zwift setup or something that you're doing in real life with the help of Zwift, whatever it is, bring it our way. You can do so through the Zwift Facebook, or you can tweet at us at Z Community Live. At Z Community Live, I'll give you a quick little, who's that guy? Submit questions or comments here, live integration, or tweet. There is the tweet handle, Twitter handle, at Z Community Live, not Zwift Community Live. So back in with the women's racing, though, it looks like the men's racing has calmed down just a little bit as they've made their way around for one lap out on the counterclockwise course. They're about 6.4 miles in for the women right now, though, as we do see a good group of A's and B's, but there's a little bit of a break right from the get-go here on this section of the course here. We do have, it looks like, it will be N Kicken here coming out of the Netherlands, right along with J. Seaman, and then it will be Dorav Sik, I'm going to say, out of the USA. Whalen then also there with Buckthal out of the USA. Perspective has made that group as well. Now, Nicken is 5 seconds off the front of this group, though, it looks like. Or excuse me, Kicken here is kicking off the front right now with about 6 seconds now. This is quite a move, actually. 6.7 miles in. They've got a little ways to go yet, and only 5 second difference. And there's a solid chase group trying to bring her back. There's a solid group also of B riders here, and it looks like a fairly large group, actually, as I look through here. About 6 or 7, maybe even 8 riders there that are going to keep those A riders within their sights, but I'm not sure they are going to see them again unless there's some sort of motivation from Daniela and the rest on the front end of that group to bring them back. Since they're not racing them, they might not want to burn too many matches in order to get back in with those A's. The only reason maybe that one of them might want to do that is to attack the group full on and then grab the back wheel of those A racers to try and get an advantage. As it is a mixed race today, a mass start type of race, then it does mix them all together, and you can find some advantage by trying to go with those who are a category ahead of you. Now, the only thing with that is if you do go with the category ahead of you and you end up over category limits for your watts per kilogram, then at that point you'll probably get an upgrade and go into that category. So win the race, but also find out you're not supposed to be in that race sometimes. I've seen that happen so often with these mixed categories. And I actually really enjoy the mixed categories because of that. Reality is that a lot of times it helps people see where they stand amongst the other riders. And so now Kicking here, still off the front about 6 seconds, allowed to dangle here, it looks like, off the front end of this pack here. 179 beats per minute. Is on the Go-Go Power Rangers, though, with Z-Power, as I can see here. So maybe Press Pitch and the rest of them are just allowing Press Pritch and the rest of them allowing her to go off the front on the Z Power, perhaps, as I believe KISS may not allow her to win that A category race. A lot of times Z Power, in the rules, it's written that you are unable to actually win a category all outright, actually, in the KISS races. I'm going to go ahead and read through the race information right now just so everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. So power-ups are allowed at all times in the KISS races, so the fully gamified race, RNG, every time you go through a start-finish banner or a KOM banner or a lap banner, you get a power up or a XP bonus if you're really unlucky. And then all bikes are allowed as well. But most people, with the way the draft is functioning in game, just like in real life, the TT bike, it does not. Well, in real life, you can draft on a TT bike, but in real life, it's not like in real life in that respect, as there's no drafting on the TT bike. So because of that, most people use the road bikes because just because the TT bike travels a little bit faster, the drafting in the game is such an advantage that they usually do not use them in the races. So please note that Strava data for KISS races must be open, not private or hidden. Z-Power riders with average watts per kilogram over the duration of race greater than 3.99 watts per kilogram will not be eligible for CAT or race wins. Riders producing over 5 watts per kilogram average will be DQ'd. They can reinstate it if real-life matching performances can be provided. HR monitor required for all Category A races. So that's the race information and rules. You can always find the rules for these races over at zwiftpower.com, as well as in the events over at zwift.com/events. There was a little attack in the men's race just now, actually, from Mr. Brett Boniface, actually, from ODZ. Let's go ahead and see how things are panning out after that attack. They're heading downhill, it looks like, into their, I believe, third lap out on course today. They will be completing a total of 22 miles out on course here today. And on their third lap here, Brett Boniface here was attacking there. It looks like up and over the top of that second lap finish there, but not getting much of anywhere just as of yet. There goes MacD from the TFC team. We haven't mentioned them a whole lot today. We are seeing, it looks like Van Baren here going backwards here, 4.9 miles in. So there are a few lapped riders now out on course that they're working their way through now. The Melty Man from KRT here, 151 beats per minute, 346 watts right now out of Canada. And we're seeing Jay Nevins as well as Sock Height here out of down under there out of Australia. And so something I've been thinking about a little bit is that the races have just been getting faster and faster, it seems, as far as the talent that goes into these races. The wattages from some of these riders that I'm seeing here, and I know that there's a little bit in the back of people's head like, oh, whatever, they're buff. But these are riders that I've seen for a long time. They're riders that I know their setups. I've seen pictures of their setups. I've met them in real life, a lot of them. And the reality is that the racing out on Zwift seems to be making all of these riders just get used to a faster and faster and faster pace, a higher and higher wattage of consistency, right? So that, like, a great example of that would be Brandon Multistreaming, actually. Brandon Multistreaming, I remember seeing him at the 250 to 300 watt ranges for about the first 6 months of his racing on Zwift. He was a B racer. He wasn't racing amongst the A's, actually. He hasn't switched his setup. He's been on that same trainer for quite a long time here. He's been training like this with the KISS racing team for quite a long time. You know, we're talking well over years, maybe even 2 years at this point. And the advances that I've seen him make in his abilities here to even come to a place where he could win A races is quite amazing, actually. And I think that there is this training over time through Zwift with the community that's just brought the level of a lot of riders who have been involved in these races for such a long time to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, to where now the speed, I see people complaining here and there about the speeds, and yeah, okay, there might be an offset up here or there, but the majority of these riders I'm looking at here are very familiar faces. They all have, a lot of them have Zada approvals. A lot of them have approvals from the race organizers that they have strain gauge, real life power meter, similar wattages. And so it's really cool to see, for me, what the community does by sharpening each other through racing and sharpening each other through training, sharpening each other through the group rides out there. And well done to all the racers showing up week in and week out for their training and getting the motivation this way to push each other along, because each one of these racers wouldn't be able to do it without the other, right? Because that's what it's really all about. And I just want to make sure that something like that is recognized in the community with each other too, because there has been a little bit, like we talked about in the with the Zwiftcast recently. If you haven't checked out the Zwiftcast, make sure to check that out. Zwiftcast.com with Simon Schofield, myself, and Shane Miller. We chat all things Zwift. We talked a little bit about the social shaming a little bit there. Definitely something to be on the lookout for like, we don't want miscalibrated things here and there, and we definitely want to deal with that, but at the same time, the sharpening, the bettering of each other through the community is definitely something we should be highlighting, and something that is the majority of what's going on, and so it's pretty awesome to see guys like the Melting Man, Sternfalk as well from Vision Cycling there, some of the newer guys that are coming in and watching them making these advances as well. It's really great to see, so kudos to all of them. Now, speaking of, though, here goes Cartwright, the teammate of the Melting Man, 7.0 watts per kilogram at the front of this race right now, and it looks like one of the most successful racers in Zwift, as well as a very successful racer in real life here, Tim Cartwright, TT Specialist. They let this boy go off the front. It's going to be game over. Usually unable to catch him. He was the winner of the CVR World Cup over in London, actually. Tim Cartwright here almost getting away, but not quite. It's actually Tardy, his teammate, that's chasing him down. Webb, though, knowing who to go for when, all of a sudden showing up the front, been sitting at the back of the pack all day long, sees Cartwright go to the front, goes, now I know it's time to go. And so here comes Innovation now also there with Gavin Richardson, seeing that his fellow countryman Tim Cartwright's making his way to the front now, and everybody's starting to respond, just waiting for the juggernaut to go. And next thing you know, all of the familiar names make their way to the front right now. Innovation trying to chase that down right along with Phone out of Switzerland. Looks like HS out of Germany following it up. Phillips is there. MacD is there as well. Dirksen there out of Germany. They're able to make this as well. But you can see the split almost happening on the front end of this race. You can see them just trying to up the pace just enough to grab just a second or 2 seconds and not allow the rest of the group to close that gap. And now anybody who's on the front end of this race right now or the front end of that chase is going to have to put out more speed, more power than those that are in that front group. But I'm not sure it's going to come back just yet. But this is a smart move for these riders now that have made this 1 second gap, because those who have not made it are still chasing on and are going to have to go uphill out of a chase, right? And some of these boys that have made this front group are going to get a little bit more reprieve and be able to attack into the climb into the lap banner here. So now here we go again. Tim Cartwright, the initial instigator, backed off as soon as they gabbed that little bit of a gap, went with a few of the riders that came with them, and now attacking again. 9.6 watts per kilogram coming from Cartwright here. 175 beats per minute. Dahl is right there, and just a lapped rider, actually. So here comes Gavin Richardson. Good job to Dahl, though, and absolutely killing it out there as well. It looks like in the B category, but we do got, it looks like Phone right along with Cartwright. It is HS Sternfalk able to make it. Webb is there still. Melting Man has made it as well, but he's in the volcano turning up the heat. Looks like he's melting the competition here. That's falling off the back right along with his teammate, Mr. Cartwright. So it will be a 1 second back gap back to Boniface. No longer, actually. Boniface able to get back on terms, so it will be Grimshaw actually leading out the chase here. Zwift HQ with Tom Hargreaves trying not to be left out of the chase, now trying to get back on terms with him. But it looks like he's ruining himself to do so. Tom, man, don't get decorated out there, buddy. It's reminding me of hailstorms with 50K to go. You better get back on terms here, Tom Hargreaves. 180 beats per minute. Jump in that van and grab onto the wheel here. And so here go. Tom Hargreaves able to make it back onto the wheel. He looks like 161 beats per minute. Grimshaw is there as well. Melting Man there able to stick with it now. It looks like Phillips there is just off the back. We are seeing 5.6 watts per kilogram. MacD there just hanging onto his wheel. See if they can work together, but without being with them, they're going to have to throw down 6 watts per kilogram at this point, because this is the pressure being put on at the front end of this race. They know that it's starting to break apart. They know at the front end of this race, these boys who are the strongmen of the race know that they're starting to put the pressure on, and they're going to keep on doing so until it's whittled down to where they want it to be. They may be getting a little bit comfortable at this point for where it's at. We are seeing it bring it down to about 3.2 or so, but Leonard at the front here from Innovation starting to ramp it up a little bit. So let's see what's happening in the women's races. It's starting to cool down here a little bit in the men's races. They make their way around the course. 11.6 miles in for the women at the front end of the A race rate. We are seeing Jay Seaman still here. Were they able to catch up to Kicking. I'm not sure if they were. I think she might have gotten far enough out that she's out of sight, out of might. Was on the Go-Go Power Ranger, so not going to be able to be a part of the results, I believe, as she is putting out over 4.0 watts per kilogram. See me here coming out of Australia. Solid effort here, 173 beats per minute so far. Let's go ahead and see what some of the past results are for this group of 4 off the front. Staying second place, so I believe Kicking is still off the front, but she's got a minute 6, and she's been putting out almost 4.0 or 5.0 watts per kilogram for the duration. So probably going to need to take a look at the setup just for some verification around the Z power there. But good job getting out there and racing today. Now, I believe the ZwiftPower.com results may be struggling at the moment. I'm going to see if I can bring up the lives, as they were not populating just a little bit. Now they are. Great to see that they are. So Jay Seaman here, I am seeing she does have a link over at ZwiftPower.com. It has 9 races in out of Australia, actually. Looks to be perhaps a TT specialist from her Strava profile, actually. Solid race, it looks like, in the Odivas ladies race, actually, back on July 26th, actually. And looks like that was the last race that she was able to do. Got a couple upgrades in Odivas Friday EBB, but no other races, actually. Maybe getting in her Zwift Academy race, actually, with this race today. So really cool to see riders come on and out and getting that done and getting introduced to the world of Zwift racing. We are seeing 74 beats per minute from her right now, and max heart rate that we've seen from her in game actually is 182 during some of these races. So she's definitely working really hard right now in order to lead this group out. I'm not sure if they're working together at this point. They do not need to chase down Kickin', that's for sure, who's put out a solid 4.8 watts per kilogram for the duration so far. Kickin', who is off the front here, Nikki Kickin', out of the Netherlands there, has done a couple of races in the past, but it is going to be 5 races total for her from what I can see right now. We also seen, it looks like Buckethall out of the US of A. Looks like she has made this front group as well. And D Buckethall riding for the ABRT team, actually. It will be Dory. With 4 races as well, FTP of 180 watts, it looks like. Solid upgrades so far, actually, for this rider. On August 11th, it was a C category win. Solid win for her in that sprint. Oh, it was a sprints ride, actually. So no races, actually, to date as well. So another rider who's getting introduced to the racing out on Zwift through the Zwift Academy. Very cool to see that as well. A few of the other riders that we're seeing here, Prespich, I believe, as well as Wayland, do not have their profiles connected to a Strava account on ZwiftPower.com and have not registered with ZwiftPower.com, so we cannot take a look at what they have done in the past. So if you haven't done so already and you want to get into some racing and get it tracked about what is going on with your past races, it is always great to register with ZwiftPower.com and connect that through Strava. It helps out a ton with the tracking through the community here. So it does look like these women are working well together, actually. No attacks really at any point just yet. They are going to have another about 4 miles to go out on course. 4 miles to go out on course, 2 laps to go, I believe, out on the volcano course. A few attacks taking place in the men's race. We'll jump into those in just a minute. They've got time. We're going to stay over here. So looking at the chase, though, it does look like we do have the B category now coming up really strongly, actually. B Natasha here out of Australia, able to catch back up to these A category riders now. Daniela is there as well as Zilstra, and then it will be Kay Kiss there out of Sweden and MP out of Germany, actually. 1 lap to go. So this is it for the final, I believe, in the A and B race. I've only seen 13.5, and it is a 2-mile lap, actually. So we'll have to wait and see if that is correct as they come across the finish line. We'll act like it's maybe the final lap, and then if I'm incorrect, I'm wrong. Can't keep track of both the men's and the women's and the lap counts at the both times, boys and girls, but it says 1 lap to go out there. 13.6 miles in. It's saying 17 over at Zwift Power, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I'm seeing 3 laps of Watopia Hilly from ramp, though, for the race at zwiftpower.com. So I think it is incorrect out there for that race. So I'm seeing 27K actually for the other women. So we'll have to see. So let's go ahead and get in with the men here real quick as we wait for these women to finish out this final lap. I am seeing here a few attacks trying to go off the front in the men's race right now. We are seeing it looks like Dirksen hanging in amongst the group, but there's a 2-second gap here up to Cartwright, who is attacking again out into this halfway through the lap on the Volcano here. Connellan now countering it then, and it looks like Connellan, part of the Zwift Academy as well. I'm going to go ahead and see who Connellan is, as I'm unfamiliar with this rider actually. And it looks like Connellan, past results for this rider is showing nothing actually. So no past results for Connellan. And 5.6 watts per kilogram for the duration of 20 minutes. So over the race organizer's approval level. So he's going to have to throw down some strain gauge power meter efforts in order to, or at least send in some files in order for him to be qualified for this. But he is a U23 rider. So I would not be surprised one bit for Connellan actually if he perhaps is a very, very strong U23 looking to try and grab that Team Dimension data contract at the end of this year, making his way into this top 15 or so amongst these riders out here. And if he does have a solid power source actually and can prove these efforts at a 5.6 watts per kilogram for the duration of 20 minutes, this boy is going to be one to be watching out for that Zwift Academy Final 10 actually. So great to see him out here, and no other races that I can see according to Zwift Power actually. So jumping in to complete his Zwift Academy here, showing that he's got the watts to give it, is this Connellan man out of the UK here. So now making it in amongst this leading group. They're still going to have a few laps to go here. They are currently 15 of 22 miles in. It does look like it's starting to ramp up a little bit in the women's race. Wayland is off the front now. An attack has taken place actually in the women's race as they have made their way around. Said 1 lap to go, 14.9 in. We'll have to see if this is the final. If they do exit the event when they come across the line, we'll hype it up like it is, and then maybe it'll be 1 to go still as they come across the line. 3.6, maybe chat's probably screaming at me right now over at ZCL, over on Mixer, over on Twitch. So we'll have to see. And Kim Little is letting us know that Tardy is a mountain biker. All right, we'll be watching out for him. Brett Boniface is here as well. Good to see you there, Brett. They're complaining about the blob, and good to see all kinds of chat about the blob. The latest nickname for the group out on Zwift. So good to see the chat having fun with the race today. Wallstrom, good to see you. Rogers as well. Let's go ahead and see if we got any more social media integration coming on through here. And I do see, which group is this coming from? Shock Snell. So this is the Zwift Academy race. Zwift Academy race. We need our flag of Wales for our profiles, Chris Hayes says. Make sure to submit a ticket over at Zwift support on their website. Best way to do so. There's probably 500,000 of them from everyone from Wales. How can I join if I have a basic turbo trainer? Richard Green is asking. And Richard Green, the way that you do that is by getting a speed sensor with ANT Plus and connecting it to Zwift. That's the way that you do it. Or a power meter. Those two will work. Wayland now still attacking, 5.9 watts per kilogram off the front here. This may be for the win. We're going to find out when she crosses the line here, but I believe she's going for it right now. B-Rider's trying to chase it down there with K-Kiss there. Press pitch there, 4.9 now watts per kilogram. Backing up a little bit as they do jump back on the Wayland's wheel. Wayland there, 190 beats per minute. I believe this is it right here. They would not be pushing this way, I don't believe, unless this was the final right here. Unless you're just trying to break the other riders here. Raymer there, 2 seconds out the back. Probably not going to see the front end of this race again, but there is the Aero power up, perhaps a last second power up here to try and win this race. MP going at 5.5, but on the front it will be Wayland still right now. are Wayland with the sprint to the line, but it is Natasha, 7.6 watts per kilogram, coming out of Australia, and I believe this is for the W here. Prespich goes, though, as well into the orange numbers, but it's GG, it looks like, across the line, as I believe that was the final lap, but they did not actually exit. Did they exit? It looks like they perhaps exited. Yep, they're all chilling out at this point, so it looks like that was the final lap out there, and we do see it. They did go out into the full-on world of Zwift there, so it's solid effort there all around. Prespich unable to bring it back in. We'll go through the women's results here in just a second, but Wayland, it looks like, was able to throw it down for first, and then Prespich in second place here. So solid result there in the women's race. We'll see if we can jump back in with some of the B and C riders in the women's race as we make our way around out on course. Back in with the men there, we are seeing Boniface here with his usual most aggressive rider attacks here, trying to get off the front here. 2 seconds right now, 17 miles in. He's got a couple of laps to go yet, but solid result, solid effort here. Only 2 seconds. The blob is most likely to be bringing him back in, but sometimes you got to take the risk. And you know, he actually got the payoff on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday or was it just yesterday, actually, in the SCR race? Actually, it was yesterday in the SCR race. Brett Boniface took the W, and the blob did not win. The pack was unable to bring him back in to the fold, actually, and he got away. But the likes of Tim Cartwright was not involved in this race, and Brett may be still recovering from that effort yesterday. We'll have to see if he still got the same kick as we saw yesterday from him. Still looking through here to see if we can find the rest of the women out there racing in the C and the D and the B categories. They've actually completely disappeared for me from the course as I'm clicking around. I think I found one out on course, the vegan QT Cat, but it looks like she may be racing in and amongst the men's race, actually. So looking through here, we do see Cartwright with 4 seconds with Boniface. This is a deadly duo, actually, to be off the front here, but we do see Innovation sending a few to the front, ramping up the pace, 33 miles per hour. We're seeing Boniface there right on with Cartwright, 33, 34 now, 32, and it's all about speed. You know, wattage is going to be the power they're putting out. The wattage is going to be what drives that speed, but you got to use the wattage at the right times, right places, and in conjunction with the other riders, right? You are seeing that 6.7 watts per kilogram on the front here. Cartwright killing it. Boniface here just trying to hold on to his wheel. There's a 5-second gap. It's going to be all about continuance into this climb, though, in order to hold on to that gap and then go further with it in order to hold on to this breakaway at this point. They may be able to do it, actually. Innovation only 5.2 on the front. They might say that's just enough. Those two are too much for us, and maybe waiting for the attacks in the uphill, but I think Innovation has nothing left in the legs at this point. Gavin Richardson looks to be allowing this to get away along with his teammate Fallon. Cartwright still attacking, 9.8 watts per kilogram. Boniface now 13 watts per kilogram, kicking 166 beats per minute, knowing that he allows Cartwright to go. It's going to be good game. Grimshaw right on with HS trying to chase that down, it looks like, but they're only matching the effort of 9 seconds off the front at this point. The two out the front know exactly what they need to do. Now it's going to be all about settling in to a pace. At the front, it needs to be 6 watts per kilogram, sitting in 4.5 to 5.5 or so, and it looks like these two may absolutely be gone right at this point. We'll have to see if they can bring it back in, but Boniface and Cartwright off the front is quite the duel to have to work against here. All right, so now we are looking through here a couple more questions. Tom O'Kalen said, never get power-ups when I need them. Points, I don't need either. I'm level 25. And I believe all the points that you do gather, though, throughout the wait, I don't know what we call it at this point. Is it a Cold War? I'm not sure between Zwift and the users as to when we're going to get new levels, but I believe it's going to take all of your riding and all your points, and it's collecting them, and you will eventually be able to use them for something, from what I've been told. Now, that's not official. That's from me, Nathan, community member, but I believe they are being stored up for you. More details on the Zwift website, Alan McNulty. And so what does unlinked mean, please? Philip Proctor is acting. That is a really great question. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that question right on in. So what does unlinked mean when I'm talking about the riders and the racers. So these races are community organized races. They are officiated by community members and by ZwiftPower.com, specifically this race, and the KISS Racing team and the KISS Racing organization, actually. And each race will have a signification about who the race organizer is. The Bolt Racing Series, the Project Racing Series, which used to be the Bolt Racing Series, the XRS Series with ZTR. They all have the Chop, which is a new race that's out there as well. So there are community organized races that Zwift puts events on for them. So they're in conjunction with community organizers who then go ahead and organize a race, tell Zwift what they want, and then Zwift goes ahead and puts it in games. So then ZwiftPower.com is what most of the organizers in the world of Zwift racing in the community use in order to track the races. So when I say the account is unlinked, that means that the person that is racing in Zwift has not gone to ZwiftPower.com and registered for an account and hasn't attached their Strava profile to ZwiftPower.com as well a lot of times. Now, I think there are some integrations, though, for the integrations for Zwift, and whether or not you have linked your Strava account to Zwift as well. I think there is some auto poll there maybe from ZwiftPower.com, but I'm not positive. So that is what I mean by unlinked. Philip Proctor. Graduated today celebrating by watching others suffer. Good to hear it, Christopher Henry Austin, and good to have you here in the broadcast. Might use points to buy power-ups in the future. That's a great idea, Tom of Kalen. It takes a little bit of RNG out, but at the same time, it definitely gives you the ability. Why European races are so late in the evening, Alex Varik? This is so that you hit, I think there's a couple of reasons for it. I think so that you do hit maybe a little bit of the U.S. market as well. But these aren't the only European races. There was a ZTR race just before this. Check out the XRS races at 12:30 CST my time, so it would be 6:30 your time in Europe if you are in the UK, or 7:30 if you're a little bit further east. And then there's also the SZR racing series that's going on right now. That racing series actually pulls somewhere between 400 to 500 racers per race, actually. That's on Wednesdays at noon my time, 6 p.m. UK time. So make sure to check out that race. We do cover that as well. So fun here now up toward the front. It does look like they have allowed the juggernauts to get away. I'm not seeing Boniface or Cartwright in and amongst this group right now. And there's not going to be a whole lot of motivation in the legs from these riders to pull back Cartwright or Boniface, because KRT is in the break at this point. So innovation. So actually, there is no ODZ in there. So Innovation, along with Hargreaves unattached there, Dirksen riding unattached there, looks like are going to be the ones, because the Melty Man is just going to sit in and watch. Webb there as well, without anybody in the break, going to have a little bit of motivation to pull that back, sitting at 134, waiting for his moment to pounce. But the Melty Man here just sitting at 4.4 watts per kilogram. Now starting to kick, maybe wanting to just hang on, though, as he's just definitely anticipating the attack that's about to come on, and we are seeing them coming from Connellan as well as Richardson here. 8.5 watts per kilogram coming from Gavin Richardson. Connellan now into that 634 watts here. 10 watts per kilogram going toward the front now. Now moving our way forward, though, I'm going to see if we can find the two off the front. Stewart there. We are seeing the Melty Man, Webb there, all making their way through the riders now as they come through a ton of lapped riders. Chambers is there as well, looking through, and I'm trying to find the Melty Man. We are seeing, there he is now with an arrow power up, 7.8 watts per kilogram. Here comes Tom Hargreaves. I believe this is the sprint for third out on course, and it looks like it's going to be Hargreaves. Not sure who won the races. They were too far off the front. We'll have to wait for the final, but Hargreaves at least able to pull off, it looks like, a third place for the day. I have a feeling it may have been Tim Cartwright or Brett Boniface, as they were the ones off the front there. We'll have to see if we can find them. The Melty Man across the line there, it looks like. Next, we'll have to wait for the results as they come in. I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the B category racers, though, right now. 17th place, we're seeing 18th now. Moving forward now, a little bit more. Monkey D. Luffy now. Now here, this is the only thing with the new placings. I think the new placings do not actually tell me who is the actual first place rider out on course for the category. Just tells me who is the rider for those who have not crossed the line. At least that's what I was seeing. I'll have to wait for an update from Zwift themselves actually on that. But we are seeing Giljam here leading out the Bs. I believe they did start a little bit later. So this is the actual lead of the race in the B category. Let's go ahead and see who took the win between Brett and Tim. I was unable to move forward far enough because of the other riders that were around them. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a little bit of help from ZwiftPower.com here. Looking through, I am seeing Hargreaves first across the line, actually. The Melty Man, Brett Boniface, it looks like, and Cartwright did get across. I'm looking at live results. It's going to update in about 20 seconds, so we'll have to wait and see what it has to say. But it looks like Brett may have taken the W there from Cartwright, actually, in a sprint finish, actually. I am seeing an arrow power-up from Brett, one arrow power-up, actually, from Brett Boniface, two drafting power-ups from Cartwright for the duration of the race. So perhaps a little bit of RNG in Brett's favor out there. We'll have to wait for the official results as they do come. Well, the preliminary results, I should say, as they come on through. Looking through the results at ZwiftPower.com, live results right now for the women's race as well. We're going to go ahead and bring this in as it does show what the current standings are for the race today. And as we do bring this in, we do see it is going to be, as we did say earlier, and kicking here at 4.8 watts per kilogram does end up a little bit over category limits and on Z Power, so unable to actually take the official win. But it was Natasha there, followed by Prespich, then it was Wayland. So my bad on the call actually earlier. So Natasha in the B category, they did all start together, but they will get separated out in the end, I believe. But it will be Natasha there. Be Natasha taking the win out of Australia. Prespich then taking second out of the US of A. Then Wayland for that third place. Kay Kister out of Sweden, followed up by L. Reimer as well, riding for the BRT team out there. McMaster there, and then it will be Zilstra, and then Jay Seaman. Solid effort from Jay Seaman out there for riding for PTZ team. Riding out the top 10 will be Bucklethal and then Galen actually as well. Probably one of the most aggressive riders on the day would be Jay Seaman. She was leading out that group often out there on course. But back in with the B category, it is starting to heat up as they make their way around the course. It will be Gannon from the BRT team here, 20.6 miles in. They're starting to hit some lap traffic though as we look through here. 0.5 off the front, it will be ML now out of Germany. Bassett there. These are lapped riders. Man, it's getting all kinds of mixed up on the crit course though. Always can be a little bit difficult to follow what's going on with the riders here. So, now this is the real Gandalf. We were calling Augustine Gandalf, dude, but look at this guy. This is the real Gandalf out on course here. 20.7 in so far out of Germany here. 3.5 watts per kilogram solid here. Gannon now up toward the front from the BRT team, countering that. This is for the win in the B category from what I can see right now as I move forward. He is sitting in first place out of 119 riders right now. Innovation now with Giljam. They're following it right on up, and it looks like Hagenbach, and they're trying to follow there from the GTD team up in the 8.9 watts per kilogram. But Hansen going again out of Denmark, real country here off the front right now. Gannon now following it up though out of the UK from the BRT team. Here comes Meldal. Gandalf has got some crazy wizardry as he goes off the front at 12 watts per kilogram, 179 beats per minute up and out of that saddle. As you can see, 700 watts. He's got the gap. No power-ups are going to bring back that 2 seconds, it looks like at this point. And it's going to have to be a last-ditch effort to the line if he's going to make it if anybody's going to make it happen here. Hansen's got 14 watts per kilogram, unable to do so though, followed by Hagenbach. That's your top three in the KISS Europe race for the B category today. Solid result there all around for those riders. We are still seeing some oddness here. It looks like Hargreaves has some hacks for Zwift HQ, perhaps. I'm not sure, but he's got the win, according to ZwiftPower.com. We saw Boniface and Cartwright off the front earlier. Perhaps they were caught. Correct me if I'm wrong, actually. I believe we're going to get some chat yelling at me that I just assumed that they were able to hold off the front there. I'm going to take a look here real quickly. And looking through here, Hargreaves killing it for Zwift, HQ, TC, and BB. When an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. And so Kim Little's letting me know perhaps that they did not get caught. I do not believe they did. I think they were off the front, and they had a solid gap. So I mean, I couldn't tell because I was away watching the women's race for a little while there, but I believe they did not get caught. It's just SwiftPower.com is not updating right this second for us for the official results. We are seeing a few start to come in for the results right now, though, as it is getting updated by the moment over there. For the B category, then, though, that was a solid effort there across the line by Mel out of Germany. ML actually there. He actually ended up with 4.7 watts per kilogram. Looks like it's time to upgrade Gandalf with the wizardry there. B. Hansen as well, 4.3. 4.4 for Giljam, 4.5 for Gannon, 4.0 for Rindo. You guys, everybody gets an upgrade. Classic Oprah meme here. I mean, we've got a 3.8 there coming from the Vikings. Zen. Solid result there for the Viking man. He's going to be the first one across the line without over category limits, boys and girls. Everybody gets an upgrade. Could somebody please meme me over at the social media integration? We need it at this point because we definitely could use that integration. We're clicking all over the place here. Sorry, guys. So looking through here at the results. There we go. So here we go. 4.7 watts per kilogram there for the winner. So that is going to get an upgrade, and automatics can't win the race, I believe, in this B category today. I will be right back with the rest of the results in just a moment. If you haven't checked it out already, obviously there's some new branding coming through from Zwift, and you don't know what Zwift is, and you're just tuning in over at the Facebook, or you are tuning in at Twitch, YouTube, or Mixer. Zwift is a massive multiplayer online platform in which riders from all over the world can ride with each other, compete with each other, or do workouts together with each other. Largest online fitness community that I know of out there, and definitely sweet. And they just launched some new branding, actually, and some new promotion around the platform. We'll be back with the rest of the results, as well as what's coming up next on ZCL. So that was the KISS Europe race, a part of the Zwift Academy. And the Zwift Academy currently going on for the duration for another 2 weeks, I believe, in October here. I'm actually visiting academy.zwift.com right now. I can show you guys exactly what is going on with the Zwift Academy, as I do believe some people do have some questions for that. I am getting a few questions coming through over at Twitch right now about how do you get set up on the platform. So we're going to go ahead and show you what this is all about with the Zwift Academy real quick, and then I will give you guys a walkthrough as well on the setup for Zwift. The easiest way to do so is to head over to Zwift.com and check out Get Started. If you go to the Get Started tab there, it will help you out a lot. But this is the Zwift Academy website. I'm going to click through. I'll show you both the men's and women's, but this was a part of the Zwift Academy program. I go ahead and click through over at academy.zwift.com, and it brings up train today for a stronger tomorrow. There's a global community. There's 178 that have graduated so far from the academy. For every graduate, it looks like 10 graduates, it will be one Quebec bike. So 17 bikes donated, 2 more graduates, and it will be another bike, Quebec bike donated. Actually, these are the people who have progressed through the program. It is 5 rides you have to complete out on Zwift, and then 2 races as well as the training program, which is a series of workouts that you need to do out on Zwift. 2 weeks left to complete it. It's a 6-week program started back at the beginning of September. Now, the competition, though, it's not just a training program for the community. It's also a competition at the same time. Top 10 U23 performers actually can go to a competition from October 23rd to November 5th that Zwift is watching out for here, who those top 10 will be. And they will head into a semifinalist program, win TaxX Trainer alongside of that. Then they go ahead and head into the 3 finalists after that from those top 10 that will advance to a competition that moves to Cape Town in real life with Team Dimension data. And then after that, the third part of it will be the winner of the Zwift Academy for the men's side, a U23 that will get a pro contract on Team Dimension Data's Continental team. That will be announced November 20th this year, it looks like, for that competition. On the women's side then of Zwift Academy, strong on our own, fearless together is the tagline there. 722 graduated so far. And same program except for it's open to all the women, not only a U23. So exact same program all around then, top 10 performers. And then top 3, though, except for they will be heading to Koblenz, Germany, it looks like, for the Canyon SRAM women's racing. And then one finalist will get a pro contract on the Canyon SRAM racing team at the end of the year for that. So that is what the Zwift Academy is all about. And this race today was a part of the 2 races that you do need to complete in order. The KISS races, as well as a bunch of other races, are a part of the program, though. You have to head on over to academy.zwift.com. Click on the little races link there, and you can find what races are a part of the academy. So looking through here, we definitely want to bring those in for you. It looks like we're having a little bit of trouble, though, with the updates, though. So we might have to hold off on the updates for or on the results, and you'll just have to head on over to zwiftpower.com in order to get that going. If you have any more questions or comments, make sure to ask them right now, as we will hold on for just a minute or two for a little bit of interaction here with the community. It looks like, Brett Boniface is actually giving us an update on exactly what happened. Thank you so much, Brett. Just a quick FYI for those who missed it. When Tim and I came around the last lap, we had 2 guys jump on us, and while Tim did all the work, they intermittently sped us up. I'm not sure we would have stayed away, but it speaks to the current Draft Blob settings. All right, so Brett, who won? I want to know who won. Was it you or was it Tim? I think Brett won. I'm pretty sure Brett won. That wasn't the looking for there, Brett. Oh, boy. All right, so looking through over at the chat over at Twitch as well. Forsaken's been timed out. Sorry about that, Forsaken. There are no bikes available for purchase. What would be a good bike to start on? Oh, Forsaken's looking for a smart bike. Hint, hint out there to the world there. Sorry about that, Forsaken. It looks like it was because of the link that you got typed out there, but good to see that you're still able to type right on. The setups that you'd want to be using Forsaken, if you're just getting started Forsaken, one of the best ways to go about it would be to be one of the verified dumb trainers or traditional trainers along with a speed sensor if you're unfamiliar with the world of cycling. Now, if you're really familiar with the world of cycling, you're an avid cyclist and you're looking to really better your performance, a lower end power meter is a great way to jump in as well with a turbo trainer or a smart, not a non-smart trainer. Now, if you want to throw down a little bit of cash on it, though, mid-range smart trainer as well is going to be around the same price, though, too, and you'll get the undulations in the game. You'll get the feeling of the uphill gradients and the downhill gradients in the game, actually. So that is a good buy. But just a little bit of a forewarning, the mid-range smart trainers don't tend to be quite as accurate, though, as the high-end smart trainers. So that's, it's which way do you want to go? Do you want a little more accuracy with a strain gauge power meter and a traditional / dumb trainer that's not a smart trainer, or do you want more of the experiential field at that mid-range? And you can jump into that. As far as the bikes go, if you're just looking for a bike and you don't even have a bike setup, I'm assuming then that you're not an avid cyclist and that you should just get whatever bike's going to be comfortable for you to both use outdoors and indoors. If you plan on doing both of those for whatever uses you're going to have that bike for, right? So there's a lot of different bikes out there for a lot of different uses. And so if you're just going to be riding local trails or paths that are just like gravel trails or something along those, maybe a CX bike that you can put a different tire on. If you're not going to be riding outside at all and you just want to jump on a bike, the lowest end at that point, right? Lowest end road bike, lowest end even hybrid bike if it's more comfortable for you, and jump on the platform. So a lot of different options out there. That's where I think a local shop is going to help you out a lot. One that try and find somebody that seems like is really interested though in what you're up to, and really interested in not just getting you out the door with the bike. So always watch out with that, and find a local shop that, you know, maybe even a reference locally from someone that you know who's a cyclist that really trusts that local shop and is going to give you a great reference about exactly what you're going to be using your bike for. I hope that helped for Forsaken. And Jay Hardy says, spend all the money if you're going to spend all winter on it. And I'm totally with that too. You're looking at an investment, Forsaken too, that's longer term. And if you put a good amount of money into something, a lot of times it is a little bit more of a incentive to use that as well. And if you are really committed to using it all winter long, you got to think about where you'd be putting that otherwise for the similar results, you know? So it is a great investment actually, especially if you're going to be using a bike outdoors. I definitely wouldn't, if you, I've always seen this with the bike market. I've seen people go out and be like, well, I just need whatever just to get around. And then 1 month later, their Walmart big box bike breaks down and they end up spending more money on it at a shop or just trying to fix it themselves because it wasn't made to really ride much at all. And so make sure, I would really suggest using your LBS, your local bike shop, for that connection and figure out exactly what you want. All right, looking through for some more comments here. What about an Elite Cubo at the low end price point, Paul Higgins? I'm not going to make any direct recommendations, but I can say in general, Paul Higgins, that Paul Higgins is bringing in a great question about specific trainers, and I'm not going to make any specific trainer recommendations, but I can definitely say that across the board, you are going to get what you pay for. And so at the lower end, and a smart trainer, as long as, you know, Rainmaker's really good. Here, okay, DC Rainmaker, great website. Check him out. GP Llama. Definitely check out GP Llama, YouTube. He's got so many YouTube videos on all of the different tech that's out there. And actually, I think we're going to get Llama in on our live web show next week for some tech talk. And definitely shoot a tweet at me if you are interested in that, and even your questions at GP Llama, as well as myself on Twitter. And you'll probably get some responses there as well. And we'll go ahead and bring him on in for the live web show, though. And that's a great time for all of the questions around the tech. I have a feeling the community is going to be super excited about that. But definitely, you get what you pay for. The lower end across the board on the smart trainers, lower end to mid-range, they're a little less accurate. It's just the reality of what they have to work with what their engineering is going to be on, you know, what their overhead is, and just bringing that in and still being able to make money on the trainer and being able to put the right parts into it. The higher ends are always going to have more accuracy across the board, just from a parts, what kind of parts they can put into it and what's going to cost them to put them in there. Looking through some of the comments still here. I've got my Karis is letting me know that the printer is not working. All right, looks like it's time for Dad to go. All right, boys and girls, I'm seeing Brett Bonner saying, can you give out your phone number so our wife could call? Wait, what? Needs support with the N+1 purchases. Brett Boniface is saying, I cannot give out my phone number, but they can watch the broadcast and I will integrate their comments and we'll have a full-on conversation between us and your families about why you should be buying all of the parts and all of the bikes and all of the things for cycling. Hands down, full-on investment. Brett Boniface. And then I get the bills sent to me in the mail. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to be following us on Twitter, as well as especially be following us on Twitch, as well as Mixer, whichever live streaming platform that you enjoy more. That is the main place to see anytime that we go live on Zwift Community Live. Highly suggest that if you have not created an account either on Mixer or Twitch yet, make sure to head on over to twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live or mixer.com/Zwift Community Live. If you have an Xbox, you can actually also watch us through the Mixer tab on Xbox, because we are on Mixer with them. So definitely head on over to those places, hit the follow buttons over there, because it will push a live notification. Anytime that we go live on those places, it automatically pushes directly to your email, as long as you turn on live notifications when you hit the follow button. The best way to interact in the community. There's also other people doing some live rides on their personal channels in those places. You can also find the VODs for all of our broadcasts on YouTube. There's also a challenge. Hey, all the community, if you're still here, I know I've been talking long-winded, Nathan, as usual, but we are doing on my personal channel, as well as on a new Zwifter actually named Sombrero, that is on Twitch as well. We're doing a challenge for WBR on our personal channels this weekend. You can join us, and if you want to live stream it as well, we'll do it alongside of you on your live stream too. We are raising money for WBR this weekend and doing the 112-mile challenge actually with the Diamondback TT challenge. This weekend I'm starting at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that Sombrero is actually in Singapore, I believe it is. And so he's starting at 11 a.m. his time. So we're trying to do a worldwide ride. Now, I know that's late for the USA people, and I know that it's also kind of early for the UK people. But if you don't want to do the 112, you can jump in with us for the 40, because there is the 40K as well. Join us at any time. Make sure to follow me on the Zwift app for the easiest way to join us. If you open the Zwift mobile link, find Nathan Guerra, and then push the follow button, and then you can go ahead and join me very easily on the load-in screen for Zwift. And if you want to join up with us, you can join up anytime. Join us for the whole ride, the middle of the ride, the end of the ride. Join us for the live broadcast. We'll be doing a charity ride on our live streams, and it will we'll actually have a link that I'll be sending out to all of the social media places for that, to raise money for WBR this weekend. And it's kind of a prelude that we're doing to show the community how to live stream for the WBR event that will be coming up on December 3rd, the worldwide WBR event that Zwift puts on in conjunction with them. And so it's kind of a prelude to that, say, hey, this is a hype up and a look forward to what's going to be happening. I believe it's December 3rd, December 4th, one of these two dates, or maybe both of them as a 24-hour event. So we'll see you guys for that for sure. And then again, head on over to the live streaming places for all the times that we do live. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see